What's going on, guys? We got some more packages in the mail today, so I already popped them open. Let's look inside and see what we got. This first one is a bunch of fuel fittings, the ends and the nylon fuel hose. I'm debating what to do here. If I'm gonna leave those steel lines, I think I'm gonna leave that filter and just come off. Probably mount that filter, the C5 Corvette filter with the built-in regulator, probably right in that area, and it'll just go from these lines right to there, and then I'll run from there up to the motor. If not, I'm gonna probably mount that filter where that filter is, get rid of these steel lines, and just run this nylon tubing up, snap it in the factory spots. It's the same size as the steel line, and the factory actually used this on either side of the steel anyway, so haven't 100% decided, but I should have enough here to do whatever I decide to do. So we also got some of this titanium protect the sleeve as we come across from the outlet side feed of the fuel filter and come up to our fuel rail. It's going to come across the header somewhere, so we want to protect that. And let me get over here. Also, I need to hook up my hydraulic line for my hydraulic clutch. So again, it's going to come from the firewall kind of in this area down. It's going to have to come across this header at some point and go into there. I think I can tie it up and make it, clearance it from the header, but it's still going to be close enough to where it needs some kind of a heat barrier. So that should work good for us. I think it's good for 1800 degrees. Let's see here, 1800 degrees direct heat and 2500 degrees radiant heat. So we should be really good with that. This next box is actually the elbows I ordered, the 90-degree bends for the exhaust, and these are actually really nice. Really thick walled, completely uniform throughout the whole bend, 3-inch. That was what I was really hoping my kit was going to be, and as you can tell, the difference in material here is amazing. This is a very heavy wall. This is decent wall, but nothing in comparison to this. You just pick this piece up and you know right away it's a stout piece. So anyway, that's what we have now. Like I said, these are very nice pieces. They actually came from Amazon, but Stainless Brothers. Yeah, if you guys need any stainless elbows, or they have all different types, different sizes. These are the 90s with a 2-inch leg. They have the 90s, tight radius 90s with no leg, 45s, 30s, 15s, whatever you want. They're a little pricey, but you get what you pay for here, that's for sure. So with that being said, we're gonna mock these up. I got a couple other ideas from comments people left. Some people wanted to see it, straight out of the back, or kind of straight out of the back, but dumping in front of the roll pan. So we'll mock that up and see how it looks. I'm not sure. I think if I was going to do that, I don't know. There's a couple options there, so I'll play around with that and see what we can get. But I'm pretty sure with these 90s, this tight radius 90, I can get over behind that shackle and dump it the way I was planning on it. We'll see how it looks too. We're just gonna mock it up. I'm spending a lot of time on this, guys, because I mean it's pretty important to me. I think a bad exhaust system, not even the system, just that to me looks good. But coming in the back, if I don't get this right, it's gonna throw the whole look of the project off to me. Some people might think it's ridiculous and just go ahead and finish it already, and that could be true. But to me, that's something I notice a lot at car shows and stuff like that, is exhaust systems and how they come out. And some are phenomenal and some are just not quite right. We will mock that up and see what we can get going. I did pull the roll pan back off, and I actually put a tailgate on here to check fitment. I was a little concerned. Like I was pointing out, the roll pan was a nice gap on this side, and over this side on this side it had a bigger gap, and you can see that a little bit with the tailgate. It's a little bit wider, but I mean, to me that's still a decent gap. Like I said, this side's a little bit tighter, but not drastic, not as bad as the roll pan was off. So what I did is I actually took this roll pan, so I can grab it here without dropping it, and I test fit it on this bed. And when you do that, it actually fits beautiful. So let's throw it up here real quick. So when I throw it up here, as you can see, that side's a nice gap, and that side's a nice gap. So, you know, there's production issues, variances from truck to truck. I don't know if this bed is, you know, at some point maybe had a slight accident and was repaired and this side's a little out. It doesn't appear to be. If you sight down, the body, you know, the rest of the cab, or the bed rather, looks nice and straight. It's got a few little ripples and dents that are gonna be block sanded out, but nothing major. It doesn't look like there were any major repairs anywhere, so I'm not really sure what's going on. And like I said, what's throwing me off is this tailgate isn't near as bad as the roll pan, so we can fix it a couple of different ways. I might try and work this corner, see if we can get it over a little bit, or we can always take and section out this roll pan, since this roll pan's probably always going to be for this bed. It's not like these are really expensive, so if I ever had to replace the bed, obviously if I modify the roll pan it's not going to fit, but I would just buy a new one anyway. But we could actually take and section this down, add whatever width we need to make that gap right, and weld it back up. That wouldn't be a big deal to do at all. That is an option, but before I go cutting anything, I'm definitely going to look at just maybe tweaking that corner of the bed a little bit. As I put this roll pan back on, I'm looking, and everything in here is pretty square. I mean, it's spot welded down through here, it comes across and it's spot welded through here. None of that's mangled up, none of it looks like it's all twisted up. So I'm thinking, and you never really know, guys, sometimes this stuff just got put on, I want to say wrong, or slightly out from the factory. So it's not to say that this roll pan is wrong, or, I mean, technically, yeah, maybe the bed is wrong, but it may have been the way it came from the factory. So sometimes that just happened. People think, you know, it was perfect from the factory. Not necessarily. Even on like 69 Camaros, for example, you might get an aftermarket piece of sheet metal and hold it up there and it does not fit at all. You could get a GM piece of sheet metal and it still might not fit, because you really don't know what happened to these cars along their life. Sometimes they were in an accident, you might not ever know about it. Someone did a nice job repairing it, except for the dimensions aren't exactly right. So somewhere along its life, this bed might have had something done. I can't really tell that it has, and I'm pretty good at picking that stuff out, but it is what it is. We'll make it work, and we'll definitely even these bolt holes, they line up perfectly, and it's nice with this side. And like I said, when you put that tailgate on, from here up isn't terrible. It's just that bottom corner. So we might end up, like I said, I'll check it out a little bit more, see if there's anything I can do. But we might just section that out and be done with it, make that gap the way it should be. Here's another mock-up. This was actually suggested, and I don't hate it. The only issue I kind of have is placement left to right here. I like the angle they're coming down. I kind of like that they're together. I don't like how close to the center of the truck they are. And unfortunately, to get them to, as you can see, to get them to come over, I would prefer them probably right here, but then again, we run into that shackle. So that's not going to work there. This could work, but the more I look at that, I'm almost thinking about putting them dead center of the truck, you know, directly under the tag. So I'm going to move these over and see how that looks. All right, so that last mock-up led me to this mock-up, and I think it might be my favorite so far. So it's dead center, like I was saying, directly under the tag, slanted down and back. We'll get a side view here. Kind of choked up there, pretty nice. I can adjust in and out as needed. It's definitely sneaky. I've always liked this center mount exhaust, like the 98 to 2002 Camaro SS's. They had a center mount exhaust option. This is obviously a little different than that. They had kind of rectangular and they came straight out of the back. So this is different, but I don't hate it. I think I kind of like it. It's very doable from underneath. Let's see here. It's pretty much we can kick those pipes this way a little bit because we still didn't weld them. We just do zigzags right over here. We have enough pipe to do that. And I'm thinking that might be a really good option here. Here's another variation, a little spread, slightly angled. All right, guys, I changed my mind. We're going to go a totally different direction. Ready for this? Bed stacks. We're not doing bed stacks. That would be funny, but we're not doing that. So here, to me, it's going to be either the center mount exhaust or one on each side. This is how I kind of originally planned it. I really thought I could make that work with two tips on one side, and I can't get anything I like in that area. And when I moved the two side by side back here, in order to get around the frame and the shackle, we have to be at least over the here. And I think if we come that far over, we might as well just make it center mount. So center mount coming down on an angle, kind of sneaky up in there, or that one on each side. Again, I might choke up. If we end up going that route, I might choke up on them a little bit. I really like to be able to see them from the side. And unfortunately with those side skirts, to see them from the side, they have to be down a little bit in the back. When I was younger, there was one of these running around. It was a red, not unlike that one. I think it was a fleet side, not a step side, but it had 3-inch exhaust, and this was back when these trucks were new. And I always thought it looked cool coming down at an angle on the side. The only thing I didn't like about that truck is how far they stuck out, but now I kind of realize why they did it the way they did it. So the fact is, we got a lot more to do on this truck, and I don't need this exhaust done today, tomorrow. You know, it'll get done for sure. And like I said, I'm very particular on my exhaust systems. So I'm gonna just kind of sleep on it another day, and we'll get it. We have been working on other things. We have the cab down at the paint garage getting prepped to get painted. So it's not like we're just blowing all of our time on the exhaust system. I know it's kind of what I'm focusing on filming, but tomorrow's another day. We'll get back to work on it tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button. Have a good day. I fitted some exhaust up on this truck, and this is exactly what I had in mind when I was thinking about that truck. 2 out the corner, kind of kicking back, kicking out. And by the way, I did not hack this plastic up, this urethane. Somebody had already did that. But this is a step side, and there's a lot more room to work with. Of course, it does have a bumper on the back too. So there's just a ton more room here. And you know, there's no bed to get in the way. So there's just massive amounts of room here. So I just kind of have these mocked up, clamped together and sticking through there. This exhaust is actually loose, and I have a feeling why that's so chopped up. This was probably flopping around. As you can see, they have it cut and moved. So this whole thing was flopping, and I have it pushed down to get these pipes in. But yeah, to me, that's exactly what I was going after. I just can't get there with the obstacles we have to go around in the back there. But if I do this truck, that's how I'm running the exhaust for sure. No question. It's already decided.